Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Nicole Wolf and I'm a paranormal romance author. So if you haven't figured out from the title of the video, today I'm talking about all of the mistakes that I made during my first year of being a self-published author. So, let's jump right into it. I published my first book in October of 2018. So technically it's been a little more than a year, but, I'm getting around to it. So, I have more than a year of mistakes to tell you, I guess. Okay, so my first mistake is I didn't invest enough in myself. So basically what that means is there are plenty of people out there who actually set aside money to put into their book before they hit the publish button. And I did not do that because I did not have the funds available and I was impatient about it. So I didn't put aside any money to publish. And with Amazon Kindle Publishing, you don't need any money to publish. You just upload your manuscript and your book cover and hit publish. Now I will say I did a ton of research before I hit publish because I knew I didn't have the money. And one of the things you need to know is in this business and pretty much any business you get into, everything you do takes either time or it takes money. So since I had no money, I knew it was going to take me time. So, I did put a lot of time into it. Because I didn't have the money, I really probably should have spent more time than I did. And the reason I'm bringing this up as my first mistake is I didn't invest in myself before I hit publish. Now, I did after I hit publish, but I didn't beforehand. And the reason I'm bringing that up first is because it kind of affects a lot of the other mistakes I'm going to bring up. Because had I had the money to invest in myself, some of these mistakes may not have happened. Okay, so that was the first mistake. Number two. Second mistake I made was my book cover. And actually, let me go grab my book covers to show you what I mean. Okay, so I already told you guys that I did not spend any money to publish my book, which means I didn't spend money on a professional book cover designer either. So it means I DIY'd it. Yes, you heard that right. I DIY'd my book cover, and if you guys have been in this community, what's with my hair? It is always with the hair. If you guys have been in the writing community, you kind of know that everyone tells you the number one thing you should invest in is a book cover. Like, if you invest absolutely nothing else, invest in your book cover. And I didn't, and I still haven't. However, I will say that I did try to learn as much as I could about book cover design for myself so that I could try and come up with a book cover on my own that at least looked decent. It didn't look like, well, that is complete crap. I didn't want it to look like crap. So, I did take a lot of time to research this particular area, and I actually did have fun doing it, which is probably why I haven't invested in a book cover designer yet, because I enjoyed making my covers. However, going into 2020, that may change, but I do know that that's one of the areas that I made a mistake in, and that is because you'll see, this is my first book cover, and this rolls into another mistake regarding my book cover. So, this was the book cover that I actually came up with on my own. Yes, I did this myself. Hope you guys got that. As I told you guys, my genre is paranormal romance. I don't know if, in my opinion, I thought this looked like it fit the genre. And it didn't look, it looked a lot like the other ones in my genre. I don't think it had all the bells and whistles that a professional one does because, my skills are limited. I don't have a fancy program. I don't have years of experience. So, considering I did this myself, I think it turned out pretty well. But that's just my opinion, and my opinion may be biased. So I think from a distance you can't really, it looks like it belongs in the genre. So that's the first thing. That's the first mistake I made, was I did the whole cover design myself. If you do not want to take the time to research and learn how to do this yourself, don't do it yourself. I was willing to put the time and the research and the learning curve into this. And you could, still tell, like, I could use work, which is probably why this is my second mistake, but it's regarding the same thing. And that is, I changed my book cover 3 months later. So I hit publish in October. By January, I had changed my book cover already, because I could tell, like, I could see those little mistakes that were flagging it as a DIY job, and I didn't like it. So I changed it. But by changing it, everybody kind of that bought it the first time was used to the first cover. And, it just, like, the cover's completely different, which I could show you. Like, you could see the cover. This is the second rendition. And I also changed the title. You'll see First is now gone. First is gone. So, that's another mistake I made, was that I changed it so quickly. What I should have done is just waited and gotten more skills of this under my belt, so that I knew, how to make a better cover. Because, you can kind of tell, other than the not for resale, because this is a proof copy thing, you can kind of tell, like, this is a better quality cover, like, it doesn't flag those DIYs, like, it as a DIY as much. And that's just because I found better quality stock photos, is basically what happened. And I figured out, by this point, I had figured out how to mesh two photos together, is kind of what happened. So that's the first thing. I shouldn't have DIY'd my cover until I knew I could create a cover that could compete with professional covers. And honestly, I still don't know. I think it does okay for the job. It's not a bad cover by any means. I've definitely seen worse. But I also know that I'm not a professional, and a professional could add a lot to that and make, especially the font. I feel like the pictures are fine, but font is so hard when you're DIYing. It just is. I think it's because of the programs that professionals have. I think this video is going to run so freaking long. So let's move on. Okay, the third mistake that I made was I didn't start marketing myself early enough. I really didn't start putting it out there that I was publishing a book until, like, 2 months, maybe 3 months at the most, before I actually hit publish. Like, I hadn't really started a newsletter. I hadn't really started an author page, nothing. Like, everything that I started, I didn't really start until maybe 2 or 3 months beforehand. And now that I know that's what I did, and that didn't help. Had I built a following beforehand, there would have been a bigger audience for me to push that book to when I hit publish. Instead of me hitting publish, there's really not a huge audience there because I didn't build it up long enough. And now I already have the book published, the book is already launched, and now I'm trying to build an audience to push that book to. But, it's 2 months or 3 months, or in my case, 1 year later. So, definitely start marketing yourself as early as possible. Like, if you're planning on hitting publish, start now. And I know it's really hard, because I heard that advice myself, and I was like, all right, that's great. Like, I get it, but what do I talk about? Like, what do I say? It's the same thing that I'm talking about now. Like, what I'm doing now, like, now that I'm doing it, it makes complete sense. Which is basically, start your page, start your YouTube channel, start your whatever social media you plan on having, and hint, hint, narrow it down, because there's no way you could be everywhere. You don't have time. Like pick 3. Just pick 3 to start at the most. Pick your 3 social medias and get them started. Get your pages started, get your channel started, whatever you're doing, start them as early as possible. And then just share things that you're interested in. You know, it's no different than a personal, it doesn't have to be any different than a personal one. Just, you know, don't, you know, rant about, you know, personal matters on your page. Like, that's not what your page is for. I mean, sure, be yourself, share things that you like. You know, like for me, I'm kind of nerdy, so I like superheroes and comic books and funny dancing videos. I think they're hilarious. I saw one in December that it was funny, so I had to share it because I thought it was funny. So anyway, and you know, start sharing things that relate to whatever you're going to be publishing. So like for me, mine was paranormal romance. So kind of I started sharing things that like where other authors, now, I'm not saying beforehand, now that I'm kind of concepting what you do, I share other authors' releases, or if they have a free promotion going on, I'll share that. I also share like just little things that I find that I think are entertaining. Like the other day I shared something about it's 2020, so there's a presidential election going on in the United States right now. And I saw like this little meme thing that was like, choose a fictional character to run for the president, you know, as their election. And I thought that was funny. So I posted it on my page and I was like, comment with a GIF who your character that you would want to be president. What character would you want to be president? So, you know, it's just, it doesn't have to be like things that are only about what you're publishing. You can share things that are more than just about your book or about your genre. Like it could be anything that you're interested in, because people are interested in more than one thing, just like you are. Okay, so that was the third thing, which is I didn't start marketing soon enough. So take my advice. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're watching this because you want to publish something. So if you're watching this, start your social media stuff, you know, your channels and all that. Start it now, right now. Like, go do it. Pause this video. No, I'm kidding. Don't pause this video. But after you're done watching this video, go do that. Okay, fourth thing, and I think this is like a big one. This is a big one for me, at least. I was not consistent at all in my first year. Not even a little bit. I was gung-ho for 6 months, and then I was like gone for 6 months is basically what happened. Like I was like all there, and I was sharing my stuff, and I was sending my newsletter, and I was like on schedule with for 6 months. And then I was just done. I was just like done. So try and stay consistent. So my tip for staying consistent, because this is my other mistake that I made, which is further down my list, but I'm going to do it now because it really relates to being consistent. Be realistic on what you can accomplish during your first year. Like, don't bite off more than you can chew, because that's what I did. What I did was I published my first book in October. And then I decided, because I had already almost had my second book finished already, I decided I was going to finish my first book, get through beta readers, get through book cover, everything, publishing, everything. I was going to get through everything and publish my second book by January. So I published book 1 at the end of October, and I published book 2 in the middle of January. So really it was less than 3 months. It wasn't quite a full 3 months between my first book and my second book. And the reason I did this is because I had heard you need to publish quickly. You have to publish rapid release, especially in a romance genre. So I was like, all right, well, I have 2 books. Like, I have 2 books already done, pretty much. So I could get those out quick. The problem was, I hadn't even thought about book 3 yet. And, well, I mean, I can't say I didn't think about it. I mean, I thought about it, but I didn't have an outline. I didn't have any kind of words written, like nothing. Nothing. of that was done before I hit publish on that second book. So then, because I still knew you're supposed to rapid release, I decided I'm going to try and write a book in 3 months. 3 months. I was going to give myself 3 months to write a book. Yeah, before this, I had never written a book faster than a year. Not one time had I ever done it. And for some reason, I decided I'm going to do it in 3 months all of a sudden. Yeah, I'm going to tell you that didn't work out too well for me. So please don't do this to yourself. If you know that you can't write a book in 3 months, don't make yourself write a book in 3 months. Or if you've never written a book in 3 months, don't tell yourself and tell all of your readers that you're going to write a book in 3 months. Like, don't do it. So when you sit down and you come up with what you're going to do during that first year, you need to be extremely realistic and practical with yourself. You need to actually know what you're able to accomplish without pushing yourself to a point where you burn yourself out, which is what I did. I burned myself completely out in 6 months because I was trying to publish 2 books. I was trying to market those 2 books. I was trying to keep up with all of my social media because that's part of marketing. I was trying to write a whole new book in the meantime. Yeah, I burnt myself out super fast because I was trying to do all of that on top of all of my regular life things because I have a small child. At that time, he was only 2. So I had a small child. I have another one in school who needs a lot of help with homework and things like that. So I bit off way more than I could chew. I'm not saying that some people can't write books in 3 months. There are plenty of people who can write more than 1 book in 3 months. So, but you need to know your limits. Like, be lenient with yourself. Okay, so that was number 5. So we're on number 6 now. Number 6 is I didn't use enough beta readers. When I went through the process, tips that I've heard, you're supposed to use like several rounds of beta readers, different beta readers in each round. I didn't do that. I had 1 round of beta readers and I only had I started out with 8 beta readers, but by the end of it, I was down to maybe 2 or 3 good ones that actually stuck with me through the whole process. So that was another mistake I made. I didn't use enough beta readers and I didn't go through enough rounds of beta reading, especially considering I wasn't using an editor. So also with beta readers, I didn't use beta readers to kind of help figure out a good description. So when you publish your book on Amazon, you need to have a description that goes, when people click on your product page, it's going to have your title, it's going to have, your name as the author, and then, you'll see that it has the description, like your blurb or your synopsis or whatever you want to call it. I didn't use beta readers to kind of help me make my description sound better, sound more marketable. And I think that would have helped had I done that. I've been tweaking my blurb for a year and I still don't know if I probably still don't have it where it's at a good point. That's still something I have to work on, and it wasn't until after I hit publish that I started asking for feedback on that description. So do that beforehand. Don't make the mistake I did. Get feedback on your cover and on your writing and on your blurb. Get feedback. Get feedback on everything before you hit publish. Okay, next is, so that was number 7 because I said I didn't use enough beta readers, and then number 8 was I didn't use enough beta readers with my description and stuff like that. So use your beta readers as much as you can. Okay, number 9, this is my last one. So the last one, oh my God, this is a 20-minute video. My last one is editing. I didn't use a professional editor. Okay, so you guys know I didn't use a professional book cover. I told you guys I didn't invest in myself. I didn't invest in this book before I hit publish. So if I can't afford a book cover designer, I probably can't afford an editor, because an editor is probably, if you want a good editor that you're getting your money's worth, you either need to, 1, pay some really good money, or 2, do a ton of research, a ton of it. because the only way you're going to find a good editor for not a lot of money is by going through a whole lot of bad editors first. And I mean, in my opinion, at that time, I was like, that costs money anyway, because even the bad ones are still a couple, the really good ones that they're good, they're like $1,000 or more dollars. So if you want to try and find a good editor for less than that, they're still charging you a couple $100 a pop, and then you really don't even know, are they good? Like you can get an editor on Fiverr or Fiverr. I think it's Fiverr or whatever it's called. And they have where their services start at $25 or whatever it is, but really that goes by word count. So even the ones on Fiverr where you have absolutely no idea, are they good, are they not any good? I'm not really sure if I want to risk it. Like if you decide that you're going to try them, you're still paying probably $100, $200, and you're risking them being a completely crappy editor, and then you just wasted that $200, and now you have to find another one for $100 or $200 and hope that they're not crappy. So when I was going through it, I was like, I don't have money to be wasting on finding a good editor that I can afford, and I can't afford a good editor that I know is a good editor. So if you're in my situation, either wait. I advise you to just wait, really, is what I'm advising you to do. Wait until you have the money. If you don't want to wait, then you use your beta readers. If you're not using an editor. Oh my God. My son just ran into the room and scared the crap out of me. I'm sorry about that. Where was I? Hold on, hon. I said hold on. So, to wrap all of this up, these are the mistakes that I made over my first year, which means I'm probably not done making mistakes. I'm sure there's plenty more to come, and I'll update you guys in another year, I guess. But these are the mistakes that I made during my first year. So if you haven't hit the publish button yet, make sure that you try your best to avoid the mistakes that I made, because they're not, some of them are pretty obvious mistakes, and sometimes I'm like, why did I make these mistakes? I knew better, and I still made them. So, oh, you know what? One last one. I completely forgot about it, but I want to quick give you guys, I'll just call it a bonus mistake, or bonus tip, bonus, whatever you want to call it. I didn't use those review sites. Again, this ties back to me not investing in myself. Those review sites cost money usually. Sometimes some cost more than others, but they all cost something, and I didn't use any of them because I didn't have any money to invest in this. So I didn't use any of those review sites, and those reviews are really important when you hit the publish button. Like if you want your books to sell, you need reviews on your book. So there's a couple of things that are really important. I'm like 4. That's what I'm going to say right now. There's 4 huge things that are really important. 1, make sure your book cover fits your genre and doesn't look like your 3-year-old, just did it in paint, in the paint program. That's tip 1. Make sure your book cover is on point for your genre and can compete. Number 2, make sure that your book description is good enough that when people click on your product page because your book cover was good. So the first thing that catches their eye is the book cover. They're going to click on it. Then that's going to take them to your product page. The next thing is you need to have a book description that actually makes them want to buy the book. So like I said, use your beta readers to make sure that your book description is on point and is actually going to get people that don't know you, especially if you're a first-time author like I was, that don't know you, to give you a try. Number 3, make sure your writing is good. You can have an awesome cover and an awesome book description. You're going to sell some books at first, but eventually, it's all going to fall apart because number 4, make sure you get reviews on your book. So if your writing is crappy, those reviews are going to come in and everybody's going to know that your writing is crappy. So make sure that your book cover is good, your description is good, your writing is good, and make sure you get reviews that actually say that your writing is good. So, thank you for watching and sticking with me all the way through. If you guys are still here, make sure to hit that thumbs up and leave a comment below, because I honestly feel like I should be giving something to those that stick around for 25 minutes. Like, I should send you like a bookmark or something. So make sure to comment below and hit that thumbs up if you actually stuck around this entire time, because I love you. And I hope that these tips are helpful for any of you that haven't hit the publish button yet, or any of you that already hit the publish button and are in my situation where you're like, what did I do and why did I do it this way? And how do I crawl out of this hole that I've dug myself into? So, if you liked this video and you enjoyed these tips, make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, because I'll be posting a lot more videos like this. I'm going to be posting videos about my journey forward, so you guys will get to see if any of my new ideas or new changes for 2020 actually dig me out of this hole a little bit. So, yeah, make sure to hit that subscribe and that bell so that you know when those videos get posted. And once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!